joined by Amy, who is an account manager of agronomy for Nutrien Ag Solutions. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Not a worry. Looking forward to it.
So can you tell us a bit about your current role? What do you sort of do on a day-to-day basis and how do you help out?
So my current role is I have a grower group and I also service people off to the side that only need me every now and again. But we kind of sit down at the start of the year and kind of work out our rotational plan of what we're going to grow for the year. We try and be as forthcoming as we can with agriculture. Weather plays a massive part in it, so things do get changed up every now and again, but we try and do a framework of budget of what we're planning to do, inputs that we need, machinery that needs fixing, like if we've had a problem from previous years, say the planter had issues sowing at the right depth or something like that. So we just sit down and have a meeting, go through what we want to improve on, what we did really good last year, set out which crops we want to grow and work backwards from there. Righto, we need this much seed, this much fertilizer, this much chemical. So, and then during the year we kind of implement that plan as we go through, adjust it as we need to. So essentially we're kind of looking after the soil health and the plant health. So going from there, checking it weekly to see what's happening, if there's any disease, insects, just the progress overall. If anything needs tweaking, we kind of action it and go from there. So kind of like a partner in a way of growing the crops with the grower. So
yeah, totally. So that would mean a lot of time on the road for you and a lot of time out at farms, or would you say 50-50 in the office and then sort of out at farms, or what would you sort of say?
Depends on the time of the season, but probably more so out on farm than in the office. Try and avoid the office as much as possible. I love being outside, and I think you get a better understanding of what's going on in the area the more time you spend in the paddock. Probably, I don't know, depending. So I'm actually part-time now because I've got my own family farm that I'm running as well. So back when I was full-time agronomy, I was probably doing anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 Ks a week, just going to different farmers. It's a little bit more spread out up in northern New South Wales versus southern New South Wales, put a little bit closer together. So just doing Ks around, and you kind of get your loops that you do.
Yeah.
See these growers this side of town this day, and so on. So.
Cool. So how did you get into it? So when you were at high school, is this sort of the path that you knew that you would go down? Like what sort of happened from high school?
So originally I thought I wanted to be an architect, then realised I couldn't really sit still for long enough. So I really found an interest in the ag program that we had at Finley High School. Absolutely loved it. And so I went through kind of year 9 to year 12, kind of showing cattle and kind of doing a lot of that farming, and being off a farm too. I was always interested in it. Really found my passion, and then went to uni and did a Bachelor of Ag Science. Then from then went to do my last placement, which we had to do 3 months of placement at a business. My partner at the time was from Muswellbrook, and all you'd ever hear about was how good the Liverpool Plains was. So I wanted to go up there just to see the diversity from all the different crops that they could grow. I thought it was a really good opportunity to learn up there, and moved up there. I was up there for 5 years. So probably following your passion was probably the biggest thing. It's been very easy for me because I enjoy it so much. I don't feel like I'm working. So
that's the key.
A lot of people say that, it's actually true. So
yeah. And so what about Nutrien Ag? Can you tell us a bit about who you guys are? What do you sort of provide as a business?
So we're quite diverse. So we've got everything from like insurance, animal health, fertilizer, water, property sales. It's a very diverse company. Probably the thing that drew me to work for Landmark back before we changed our name was what I'd heard about the mentors that you can find. So I was very fortunate that I had two really good mentors for my first they're still my mentors now. I still call Mark on once a week, even if it's just to catch up, but it's like you still call your mentors, and like they're people that I'm going to have for life now to fall back on if I ever do need anything. And that's probably the biggest thing with Nutrien. Everyone's really happy to help and they're happy to share, like coming down. So I've moved from north to south, and it's a really good network. So you can, just getting your network of people that are more than willing to help you. So there's never a silly question, and they're more happy to support you, because if you're going well, everyone else is going well. So
yeah, that's it. It's really important, isn't it? Especially when you're starting out, to have like a mentor within the company that you can call and not feel silly asking a question that you may think is a silly question, but there's no such thing as silly questions, is there?
No. Well, it's definitely like that's the biggest thing coming out of uni. Like you think I've done 4 years of uni, I'm going to know this, and you get out into the real world, you're like, wow, I don't know much at all, kind of thing. And each season with agriculture is different as well, so you're kind of drawing on past experiences as well.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So what personal attributes do you think that you possess and that you probably need to be an agronomist?
I think most of your personal attributes, you need to be a really good communicator. You need to be able to set expectations in the paddock. So, like, prime example is just earlier I was standing in a ryegrass wheat paddock that had so much ryegrass in it, and we've got a resistance issue with ryegrass, and you've got to set that expectation that this product is only probably going to do a 60% job, but you're probably not going to get much of a crop if you don't do anything. So spending that $50 is going to be beneficial. So, but if you don't set that expectation, you're going to have problems with people coming back, well, you told me to spray this and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, it did work, but you've got to fully explain it. So communication is probably the key. You really need to set expectations as to what the outcomes are going to be, and that's where it comes back down to experience. So communication is probably the biggest thing. So.
Yeah, totally. And I can imagine that you become friends with these farmers, and some years will be great years for them, and then some years there may not be any rain, or there may be too much rain. Like Mother Nature plays such a large part in what you guys do. So I'm sure it would be challenging at times as well, especially when you've built such good relationships with them and you really feel for them.
Yeah, definitely. Like especially when we're going through the drought, it was really hard. Like I'd be calling my growers and saying, I'd answer the phone and they're like, what are you calling me for? I've got nothing to do. We don't need to do anything. I said, look, I got nothing to do either. So can I come out and have...
We may as well catch up. Yeah.
Like it's just, keeping those relationships going, and just, it's really important just to, like they're going through the same stuff as you are in a sense, kind of thing. And sometimes they might not see anyone on the farm. So if you heading out that way, I always just give them a bell. If you've got a spare minute, drop in. So it could make someone's week, kind of thing. So
absolutely,
so much easier. Like the drought was definitely very hard. A lot of growers like that I had up there, it was the first time that they'd never planted a winter crop. Normally they always plant something, but a lot of them didn't grow anything. We had a couple of pivots of wheat and barley, and it was probably the most scouted wheat and barley because there was nothing else to look at. So but it's we're having a good season now, and last season was excellent. So it comes with its highs and lows. Yeah,
absolutely. So what would you say gives you the most satisfaction in your role?
I think getting the outcomes that the grower really wanted. Like last year was excellent. Like we had pretty much perfect rain. We didn't have too much waterlogging. We didn't have too much disease. Well, there was a little bit of disease pressure, but it was nothing catastrophe. Like it's getting it right. A lot of it comes back down to the environment, but really, it's very satisfying when you jump in the header with a grower and they're stoked that they're pulling crop that they're really happy with. So it's really good. So it's very rewarding.
So you've sort of touched on probably the biggest challenge would have been the drought. Do you have sort of a greatest achievement so far in your career?
Probably my greatest achievement was being a graduate agronomist and taking over a senior agro's book and maintaining the customers. So that was probably, I was terrified when he left because I'd had kind of 12 months kind of in the job kind of thing, and I didn't think that I was ready for it, but obviously everyone else saw some potential there. So it was kind of a sink or swim moment, and I managed to tread water and get through it. So that was a pretty big achievement, I thought, just maintaining. And like, it's very hard to come by trust. Like some of the recos that you write, you look at the amount of money that the growers are spending and it's eye-watering. So that trust is so important. So if you can maintain that trust, and that was probably my biggest achievement of maintaining customers. So
yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what advice would you give to students out there who are listening, who are currently in high school, and who are thinking about a career as an agronomist, or even just a career in agriculture in general at Nutrien Ag? What advice do you wish you received when you were at high school?
Definitely follow your passion. As long as you're passionate about it, those hard times that you're going through, going whether I can do this or not, being passionate makes it a lot easier, kind of thing. And the other thing is the ag industry is super supportive. There's always someone there that's willing to kind of help you out, be it chemical reps, be it like more people in your network. Like, there's a lot of people, like the GRDC update events are really good just to start to build your network of people, because you meet people and find common interests, and then they go, oh, there's that young kid that was looking at doing this, and this, he might suit or she might suit this situation. So you kind of build your network, and I think just talking to people is really important. So
yeah, totally. So if students are listening and they'd like to find out more about a career at Nutrien Ag, where should they head?
So the Explore Careers website is really good. It's got a lot of information on there that can put you in the right direction. But there's a lot of Nutrien Ag branches around Australia. So I'm sure if you dropped into any of them, and someone would be more than happy to help you out. We've just the graduate program's just opening up now, so there's information circling about that. I think I've seen it advertised on my Facebook and stuff like that. So it's the information's out there. So
yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Amy. It was really cool to hear about your career and your role as an agronomist, and appreciate your time today.
Not a worry. Thank you.
Help in your role.
Can we just stop for a second?
Yes.
Sorry. I've got a Joey and it's just got out of the bag and it's jumping.
Oh my God, can the Joey just, can it be part of this, please?
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Forever.
It's just literally.
Okay, I've had like kids and dogs in the background, but I've never had a Joey. So that's a first. That's awesome.
He's back in his little.
Oh my God. In his Coles bag as well.
His Coles bag, because it's insulated. So.
Oh, that is the cutest thing ever.